Our congressional budget offer the August for the 29 for the 2025 of the state for the discretionary operation legislation fiscal year of the 2025 of the House for the Representatives for the as of July 24th of the 2025 for summary of the congressional budget of the offer the cost estimate of the discretion for the operation fiscal year of the 2025 of the contained with the legislation considered for the House of Representatives table 1 summary of the congressional budget for the office estimate of the administration spending with the 2025 legislation to leave the budget for the authority subject to limited to established with the Financial Responsibility Act of 2023 Public Law 118.5 of the table to do some of the advanced operation provided in 2025 of the operational legislation future fiscal years. Table 3 summarizes congressional budget office with the estimated change of the budget authority outlay for the withdrawal of the provisions to make change with the mandatory programs. Statutory operational legislation with the table to reflect chief of the budget offer the estimate of the operational legislation in the act of official year for the 2025 with the estimate of the prepared relative to the chief budget offer the June 20th, 2024 baseline continuing operation act. 25 further continuation operation 2025 of the Debt Relief Supplemental Operation Act 25 full year continuing operation act 2025 recession act of 2025 table summary of the congressional budget offer the estimate of discretionary spending within the 2025 legislation delineates budget for the authority subject to limit the call for the cap for the established financial year responsibility act 2023 and separate of 2025 separate act exists with defense funding within the revised with the security with the budget function of 050 non-defensive funding the revised non-security covers all the other budget function of the basis of unbalanced budget of the Emergency Deficient Control Act of 1985, as amended with the FRA, with the provide certain adjustment for the cap table shown by the congressional budget over the estimated funding constraint with the 2025 caps amount, resolve adjustment certain amounts with not counted towards the caps. Agricultural total spent under cap 6296, outlay 4285. Big commercial justice basic authority. Budget Authority 7302 785 outlay 85 1680 defense 84 841 508 outlay 837 318 energy of water 59 792 basic budget authority 67 outlay financial services 85 budget outlay 2843 outlay Homeland Security 118 Basic Authority outlay 92,000 outlay Interior Environment 56,294 58,047 Labor HHS Education 201 181 241 904 Legislative branch 6752, 6789, military construction VA 148 386, 144 114 or 111. State Foreign Operation Basic Budget Authority 516941, outlay 71506, Transportation HUD 1014 495, outlay 1940 94 955. Total budget outlay under spending caps 1,750,000,000 $1.75 billion trillion outlay 1.87 trillion dollars. Or statutory caps and adjustment operation subcommittees. In 2025, the most discretional budget authority subject to the limited sale of the FRA through this question of the separate cap of the defense of the law funding law revised secretary of the budget for the function of 050 for the non-defense of the funding of the non-secretary of the coverage of the budget function for the Deficient Control Act as amended with the FRA with a revised adjustment with the cap of the account with the funding of the certain activities designated with the form of the section 251 with the emergency requirements of the disaster related certain activities related with the program to take the wildfire suppression with the table to reflect with the congressional budget office of the estimate of the budget authority resolve with adjustment with the caps well associated limits of these adjustments. The final authority determines of the result of the Office of Management over the budget. For more information, Office of Management budget, Office of Management budget final question report with the President of the Congressional official year for the 2025 to April 2025 includes 12,377 million full operation for the full year continuing operation act of the 2025. There were designated with the Congress emergency requirements of those among the President of the designated with 9,443 million with emergency requirement of the Ministry of the plans. Spending those President of the does not designate 2,934 million with the emergency requirements for the operation available to the obligation of the Chief of the Donald John J. Trump, President of the United States, with the memorandum of the Congressional of the United States, with the designation funding for the emergency, with the Office of Management Budget Finals, the question report, President Congressional Fiscal Year with the 2025, the 2,934 million with 443 million under the jurisdiction subcommittee of the Commerce of the Justice and Science, 2,500 million, 2,500 million is under the jurisdiction of the subcommittee of State and Foreign Operations. Relief amounts with the previously enacted with the designated with the emergency requirement of the fiscal year 2025 of the allocation portion of the Congressional Budget Act 1974 with the keeping in section 103 for the FRA with the amount with the exclude with the calculation statutory budget enforcement stem of the Division J Infrastructure Investment Jobs Act with the Division B with the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act Section 443, Division G, with the Consolidated Operation Act of 2023, Public Law 117-328, and keeping the 21st Century Cares Act with a certain funding with the Department of Health and Human Services exclude with the estimate of the purpose role for the Congressional Budget Act with the Deficient Control Act with the as a result estimates to exclude with the $50 million of the budget authority, $58 million outlay under justification subcommittee with the agricultural estimate exclude with $127 million of the budget with the authority with the, and with the $586 million outlay with jurisdiction with the subcommittee of the labor, the HHS, and with the education. In keeping in 2024 legislation funding with the Committee of the Future Trading Commission is issued include under the jurisdiction subcommittee with the agricultural include 17 million full year emergency designated with the Operation Federal Bureau of Investigation stemming with the Section 155 of the Continuing Operation Act of 2025. Includes 6,604 million with the full emergency designated Operation Department of Defense with 5,691 million with the shipbuilding conversion, 913 million with the defense for the operation with the maintenance attending for the respectively section 157 and 158 of the FCA 2025. Alright, statutory capital adjustment of the Operation Subcommittee and $2 million for the whole year of the emergency designated with the operation active with the Department of Energy stemming with the Section 160 with the FCA with the 2025 keeping the section with the 14,003 Corona Aid for Relief Economic Security of the modified Section 101 of the Division AA with the consolidated operations for the fund of the provided with the Army Corps and for the actually with the estimate with the purpose of both Congressional budget with the deficient control of the resolve of the estimate with include 2,829 million for the budget with the authority 2,552 million outlay with the jurisdiction subcommittee water for the purpose of the estimating 225 of the operational legislation. How with the name of the commandee with the budget, have the director of the operation with the provide with three power marketing administrator with the purchase power with the wheeling, full offset with the receipt with the collective with the recover with the expense with the related purchase power with the wheeling as a result with the direction of the estimate incorporated additional offset with the totaling $70 million. Section 1101 of the 5 of the financial service 1101.8 with the labor HHF with the education public law 119.4 for the design with the 10.2 million with the 10.2 billion 10 billion the amount of provided internal revenue services in 2022 Reconciliation Act of the Public Law 117 169 with the Congressional Budget Office and for the design with the amounts of the result of the future and enforcement actions by the IRS, the similar revenue collection with the taken together with the Congressional Budget Office, the estimate of the reduction revenues attributed cumulative with the 22.2 billion recession with a total of 1.7 million with the 2025 with the 38.2 billion with over the 2025 with the 2025 period 65.8 billion over 2025 with the 2034 billion include the 67 million of base operation activity the presidential transition stem continuing operations act of 2025 with include the 1 million full year with the emergency designated with the operation office of the terrorism and financial intelligence stemming from the Fiscal Act FCA with the 2025 it includes 231 million over the base budget for the authority U.S. Secretary Secret Service stemming for the full year operation provided with the CAA 2025. Section 1101, with the Public Law 119.4 with the extent with the September 30, 2025, several immigrant programs, Congressional Budget Office, the epidemic extension of the effect of the revenues recover the result of the chain with the both sides, use population number of the people enrolled with the certain benefit program, some of the benefits of the provide with the tax revenue, particularly with the Congressional Budget of the estimate, the extent of the provision related with the Conrad 30 waiver program, non-immigrant medical worker with an employment-based immigrant with a visa with a certain religious worker with a duration fiscal year 2023 for the revenue. Use revenue as a significant amounts of the fiscal year for the 2025 to 2035 overall reduction $1 million over 2025 to 2029 of the 2025 to 2034 periods. Table 2 displays summary in advance for the operation budget authority provided by the operation legislation that becomes available the obligation of the one or more official year of the budget year of the legislation consider the amount of the term and incorporated with the current state of the discretional operation for future year of the congressional consider the operation legislative of the respective years. The official year of the millions basic budget authority of the interior environment is $5,234 million. Labor HH of the station $23,833 million. Military construction 131.43 million. Transportation HUD 44 million. Total 164,906 million. Table 3, summarized estimated budget effect of the change of the mandatory program was contained in 2020 with the operational legislation. Keeping the budget of Enforcement Act of 1990. Keeping the guideline 3 with the operation acts include with the change of the spending with the mandatory program in the current year of the budget year of the spending effect with the not revenue effect with include with the estimate of the discretion and funding from those acts purpose of the judging acts complying with the limits of the budget authority. Alright, so we have the agricultural in 2025 budgeting authority 171, outlay 120, 112. Commercial justice system negative 2700, outlay 600 negative 690. Defense 00, energy basic authority budget authority 2, outlay 14. Financial services budget authority 10,690, negative 10,649, outlay negative 523. Homeland Security Budget Authority 13, outlay 13. Interior Environment Budget Authority 580, outlay 592. Labor HHS education negative 23,422, outlay negative 607. Legislative branch negative 4, negative outlay negative 4. Military construction 00. State foreign operation budget authority 0, outlay 25. Transportation HUD out 0. Basic authority budget authority negative 36,109, outlay negative 100,68. And that was the official year of the $1 million estimated budget effects change of the mandatory programs contained in negative 2025 operational legislation of the Operations Subcommittee.